Shirley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, February 3rd. So we have another day of the moon being in her place of power in Cancer. Of course, this has us a little bit more introverted, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more in exploratory land where our feelings are concerned, trying to find a new grounded, stabilized point for us to launch off of. Of course, we're all up in our fields. We're floating through our intuition. We are examining the changes that, of course, we know we need to make, that we're hesitant in making. A lot of the focus while in this Cancer energy is due to the family structure, the family situations, the home environment. And with that, realizing what it is that we are overly attached to, what it is that we're afraid of letting go of. And of course, a lot of those particular aha moments and realizations are going to lead us to really determine whether or not we're going to be able to find a contentment spot with our current circumstances, or whether or not we're going to have to abandon those particular attachments to actually move forward. We are a little bit defensive in our energies and emotions. We are very careful with what it is that we are kind of sharing with other people, and very cautious in what it is that we are kind of expressing. Of course, we are in the stage where we are building towards the full moon in Leo, and you best believe there will be no holding back with the emotional expression that is needed to take place in order to release some of the weight, some of the emotional baggage on our heart space under that particular energy. But right now we're just building towards it. And we will be entering into the full moon window here later this evening with 9 different aspects, and 8 of them involving the moon. You best believe that we are sorting through the feels. So right out of the gate, we have the moon opposing, sitting across from Mercury, who is in Capricorn energy. Of course, the Cancer and Capricorn energies, they oppose each other in the zodiac wheel. It is the axis of safety, security, stability. Of course, the Cancer energy wants those things in the emotional realm, in the home and family, our private life, while the Capricorn energy wants safety, security, stability in our public life, in our career, in our finances, in our reputation. So the moon being our heart space, Mercury being our head space, they're sitting across from each other. They're having a pretty, I'm going to say, in-depth type of conversation, because we're not on the same page here. The heart wants to stay in the past. The heart wants to kind of attach itself to what is old, tried, tested, true, and familiar. Mercury, our headspace, is over here thinking about our long-term goals and plans and recognizing what needs to go in order to lighten the load for us to actually be able to move forward. So there is going to be a little bit of a disconnect, a little bit of a inner conflict between our heart and head as we explore our emotions and our thoughts that, of course, are on 2 different sides of the page. Now, the moon is going to go ahead and make a harmonious aspect with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over our roles, responsibilities, systems, routines, foundations, and structures. In that Aquarian energy, really pushing the boundaries on what it is that we believe is possible for us, what it is that we want to create as far as our vision and our dream goes. Emotionally speaking, I think we're going to come down a couple of pegs. I think we're going to get a little bit of a reality check. However, this is a harmonious aspect, which means that we're not diving into the deep negative narrative that sometimes Saturn brings on. Instead, we are recognizing where it is that we are being asked to boss up, where it is that we're being asked to grow, where it is that we're being asked to make some major transformations in our lives in order to create a different foundation, a different structure. Now, the Cancer energy, very hesitant to even think about moving on because, again, Cancer energy, very traditional and stuck with the past. But at the same time, emotionally speaking and intuitively speaking, we know that we're on the precipice of making a major change. We know that we do have to boss up to accept new karmic roles and responsibilities. And therefore, emotionally speaking, we are kind of getting bold and brave with what it is that we are being asked to do. The moon is going to make a harmonious aspect with the true node, our soul path, our destiny point, which is kind of putting into perspective where it is that we need to go from here. It's not an easy perspective change or adjustment while sitting in this moon in Cancer energy. However, again, we are slowly but surely building towards a realization of what it is that we're overly attached to, and essentially what it is that's holding us back from making the kind of changes, the kind of progress that our vision, our dream really is inspiring us to make. The moon will trine Neptune. We get some water on water action here between the moon in Cancer and Neptune being in Pisces. This is a beautiful energy because water is very healing, very cleansing, very transformative. We are in alignment with our higher selves, trusting our intuition, trusting the dreams, the visions, the gut feelings that we are getting, and where it is that we kind of have to break away from the old mold in order to really kind of hone in on the details of our vision and our dream that is exciting us enough to push past our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, and actually move forward. So the moon interacting with Venus in an awkward way, Venus and Pisces energy as well. This awkwardness is because just when we get a little bit of insight, just when we're feeling a little bit more confident about the progress and the steps that we need to make in moving forward, suddenly those darker forms of thought and emotions kick in. And in this Pisces energy, we're a little bit of an avoidant type of energy. We don't really want to deal with real life. We just want to live in la la land. And the moon in Cancer right now is very down to earth in what needs to happen, really looking at life for what it is instead of the way that we wished it would be. Venus is having a hard time with that. She just wants to kind of live in this bubble where everything is light and fluffy and everything is dreamy and everything is happy-go-lucky, and that is just not the case. And therefore, we're having a disconnect on, emotionally speaking, what it is that we want, need, and desire where it comes to our relationship values and the relationship dynamics that we're currently trying to sort through. Again, Venus in Pisces energy will bring an ending to those relationships that are not in alignment with our highest mission, our highest potential, and push together the relationships that are supposed to be to a new level of commitment and intimacy. The moon is going to semi-square Mars. This is another not so nice vibe. We're getting a little bit tension filled here. Mars, of course, just wants to take action. He is really tired of being blocked out and stunted in the amount of progress, the amount of moves that he's allowed to make. He's been in this Gemini energy for far too long. He's now direct. He has ants in his pants. And the emotional toll that the moon in Cancer brings us, again, very much highlighting the attachments that we have and where it is that we're essentially blocking our own progress and growth. It's kind of coming to a light and it's not feeling so good, but keep in mind that the not so nice aspects need to happen in order to illuminate where change is needed the most. And right now the change is needed in our mental plane. Why? Because we got to get the heart space and the head space on the same page before we can actually engage the physical body and take action. And that's what Mars is waiting for us to do, like to get our shit together, to get in alignment here, get on the same page so that we can actually take a step in moving forward. The moon bumps into Saturn again in not the nicest way. This will provide us with a choice point, with an opportunity, and it's pretty much, are you going to stay or are you going to go? Even emotionally speaking, this doesn't necessarily mean action, but within yourself, are you able to emotionally bring yourself to a point where you have to kind of say goodbye and let go to certain aspects of yourself and elements in your life in order to build something new, something stronger, something more beautiful, more in alignment in your life? Or are you going to allow the overwhelming pressure of bossing up and taking accountability and responsibility in your life? Are you going to allow that to keep you in a state of paralysis and therefore stuck in the same loop, getting what it is that you've already got? The moon goes ahead, gives us a positive interaction, thank goodness, with Mr. Uranus. Uranus, of course, gives us an aha moment, gives us an epiphany, gives us a new energy to shift our mind, to shift our emotions, to shift our perspective on the change that we absolutely need to make and make us a little bit more open and available to making those said changes. Now, this is great because it does mean that there is a sudden shift taking place in our emotions, which is step one. We do need to get that mental plane in the same kind of alignment before we can go ahead and take action. That will likely come after the full moon in Leo this weekend. However, the last aspect that we have here today is the sun squaring Uranus. So 9:45 p.m. is when the moon makes a harmonious aspect with Uranus, and suddenly we have a change of heart. Suddenly, we are seeing where the change is needed, and we are kind of having these epiphanies and aha moments. And then 5 minutes later, the sun gets into the boxing ring with Uranus. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we're about to kind of feel shaky again. This is going to destabilize some of our, I'm going to say, topics and themes going on in our lives right now. It can show where stability is needed. It might not shake up and destabilize something that is already stable. It could shake us up to the point where we're being illuminated to areas of our life that are already needing a little bit more stability. It is kind of feeling like a jolt of energy forcing us to change when we're not emotionally or mentally ready yet. And it's disrupting our inner processes, if you will. Now, you could see disruptions to your day-to-day routine. You could see your plans just totally be thrown out the window. However, anything that seems to be falling apart is falling apart for good reason, because the methodology that you are trying to take to make things happen obviously isn't working. So this is the universe's way of kind of creating a detour in our lives. And this is putting us in a very emotionally turbulent situation, I would say, because suddenly we have more of an intense draw, an intense desire to kind of break free from the same old that the moon in Cancer over the last couple of days have just shown us, where we're very comfortable to stick with the same old. This is like a jolt to say, no, you can't stay here. No, you shouldn't be content here. No, you shouldn't want this for your long-term goals. And this pushes us to really rebel against our own selves. So what this is also going to do is make us a little bit more aware of the changes that we're hesitant in making and the changes that we want to make. So this is very much a double-edged sword in the fact that we realize our dreams and our visions, but we also realize the fears, the doubts, the insecurities that are totally preventing us from going after said dream and vision. So we're a little bit defensive. We're a little bit on guard. We're actually a little bit paranoid at this particular time. And we're not handling change very well, especially the ones that are feeling like they're pushed upon us. And because of this jolt of energy, keep in mind, Uranian energy is a jolt to the central nervous system, bringing on anxiety and restlessness and, all of those unstable feelings. It's bringing this up in order for us to see where it is that we've repressed some serious frustrations or agitations or anger. And whatever is coming up for you is a huge hint on what it is that's actually blocking you from moving forward. So pay attention. This is a beautiful time, although it is a tension point, it doesn't feel good. Beautiful time to take a hint and realize where your emotions are asking for your attention, to sort through some of the energetic blockages that are essentially preventing you from moving forward.